In the studio with me this afternoon, we've got Carole Herman from Shenfield High School. Hi, Carole.
Hello.
You're going to talk about this afternoon the Ofsted report.
I am indeed, yes.
Now, we've just had a quick chat. I feel so ignorant. I knew absolutely nothing about an Ofsted report. All I knew, which is probably what most people know, is just that it's really good or really bad for a school. And I know Shenfield High School are doing really well at the moment, aren't they?
They are indeed. And we're very proud to report that we've got a good rating in our Ofsted report that took place in the middle of November.
So tell us a little bit about the Ofsted report. Why is it so important for a school?
Well, it's very important because I think it's very often the starting place for parents when they decide where to send their sons and daughters. So it gives an indication before you get to know the school, look round, come to open evenings and so on. It just gives that initial indication of whether the school is of an appropriate standard for your children. So it's a very big deal for parents and it's a very big deal for schools as well. You only get half a day's notice when you're going to be inspected. Ouch, yes.
So you can't even sweep up properly.
You get what we know as the call from the lead inspector, and then the inspectors join you the following morning.
Is it like a whisper? They're coming round to see you tomorrow?
Well, not quite, no. It's almost a script.
Oh, really?
You answer the phone, it gets put through to the head teacher, and the lead inspector tells you that they will be inspecting your school starting the following morning.
Oh, my word.
And what they require you to do in advance, which is mainly lots of paperwork.
Be honest now, is it terrifying when you get that call?
It is a little bit terrifying. It is a little bit terrifying. However prepared you feel,
I know.
You know there's a lot at stake.
It's like a VAT inspection.
Well, I haven't experienced a VAT inspection, but if that's scary, then yes.
It is scary. You've done everything right. You know everything's right. Yet you still go.
Yeah. No, it's they were a very pleasant group of people, but they have a job to do. And in they came at 7:45 the following morning. They met with me, and then they're off. They're out round the school, visiting lessons, talking to young people, looking at the parent survey, reading students' work, looking at the way it's marked. They're very thorough.
You say they. How many of them are there?
We had 5.
Also, there's a gang.
There's a gang of Ofsted inspectors.
They don't turn up on motorbikes,
do they? I think that's the collective noun, isn't it? A gang of Ofsted inspectors.
So, and we know it's good for the school. We know Shenfield High School's doing really, really well. But what criteria do the Ofsted actually look at?
Well, there are 4 areas that they look at, and each of those areas has a whole list of criteria against which they judge the school. So they look at the leadership and management of the school, including the governors and the head, of course. They look at the teaching in the school. They look at behaviour and safety, and they look at the students' achievement. So 4 broad areas, but within those areas there's a lot of detail that they look at.
I can imagine it is, and that's probably why they need 5 of them, because they're
absolutely
concentrating on different areas.
Well, in a school of 1,100 students, there's a lot to look at, and they're there for only 2 days.
2 days to do this
intensive 2 days.
And is this? I can imagine it is. There's a lot of sweat coming down your forehead. Is it just once a year that they do an Ofsted?
No, it depends on how your school has been rated before. We were last inspected 2 years ago, and at that point, I'd been in the school just a year. At that point, we still had a way to go to get our goods. So we knew that they would come back in a couple of years and expect that we'd hit all the criteria for good. I'm very pleased and proud to say that we did.
That's fantastic, especially for Brentwood as well. I mean,
it is. It means that all schools in Brentwood are good or better.
Yeah.
It means that parents have a huge range of choice. And it also means that schools like mine can have particular unique parts of their school provision which may interest parents. So in Shenfield, we're particularly good at sport. We're particularly good at performing arts. We have academies in the 6th form. So, for example, our cricket and football academy in the 6th form, it means that students can study A-levels or BTEC level 3, and they can also get professional coaching.
That's really
in those
good.
sports. Similarly, in our performing arts, which is just starting this coming September, students can study at A-level standard or BTEC level 3, but they can also be involved in shows, working with primary schools. We've got a link with casting agencies. We've got RADA and Central coming down to give master classes.
Fantastic.
It is. And alongside that sense that we've now got a very, very solid provision. So some of the comments that Ofsted made were really heartwarming. They told us that in the majority majority of subjects, and they listed them, teaching was good or better. They told us that in mathematics, progress was outstanding. They told us we were a very inclusive school, so that students of all abilities, including students with special needs, were very welcomed by us. Yeah. But they also said that our most able students made outstanding progress.
That's fantastic.
So we are delighted.
You should be incredibly pleased with that. That's amazing.
I'll tell you what was particularly lovely, and it's very unusual for an Ofsted report, but one of the first lines that they state was that there's a real sense of team Shenners. And that's what we call ourselves. We're team Shenners.
Oh, right, gotcha.
And I don't know how that got through the Ofsted sort of bureaucratic process, which makes sure that all boxes are ticked. But to actually have that warmth in the report where they recognise that there's a loyalty, there's a real sense of Shenfield spirit in the school. So team Shenners onwards and upwards.
So they talk to the pupils as well as the teachers, they sit in on lessons and they just observe. And what do they actually talk to the pupils about?
Well, they'll talk to a young person, they'll perhaps sit alongside them, they'll ask to see their work, they'll say things like, so I can see that your teacher has marked your book here, and he or she's given you some advice. Have you acted upon that advice? Can you show me? Can you show me how you've improved because of what your teacher's told you?
Oh, really?
Oh, yes.
Well, this is so much more in depth than I thought it was.
It's quite precise, yes. And, of course, that's very important because otherwise, unless we're making sure that students know how well they're doing and also what they need to do to improve, they're not going to make progress. So it's a very exacting inspection process, but it's, I think, a useful one when it gives schools and it gives parents this sort of feedback.
Well, this is absolutely fantastic because, I mean, teachers, most people just accept a teacher as being a teacher. It's not as easy as learning certain criteria and then producing it to the children. I mean, it's because psychologically, as we spoke about before, if somebody doesn't like you, they're less inclined to listen, and if they do like you, so it's
so there's our challenge, really.
That's what I mean.
I think what's at the centre of a successful school is the way that it builds relationships with young people. And with, of course, its parents and community. So I think that's part of Team Shenners, actually. We've always been known as a school with spirit, Shenfield spirit, a bit of soul, a bit of heart. And I think that's also the sort of feedback we've had from our parents. I've been overwhelmed, actually, by the warmth from parents who've sent in their congratulations.
Yeah, you should be. Yes.
One set of parents even sent me flowers.
Oh, really?
Anonymously.
Oh, really?
Yeah, from proud parents, which I was very touched by.
Do you get this bottle of wine when you break up for Christmas? And
we'll be having a little celebration, I have to say. And I mean, the staff are very proud because they've worked very hard for this.
So Carole, how long have you been teaching yourself?
Well, many years. I went into teaching in 1986. I started, and I've done a variety of jobs all over the country. So I'm an English teacher by trade.
All right, yeah.
But I became a deputy head teacher quite young. I became a head teacher for the first time quite young. I was 38 when I first became a head. That wasn't here. That was in South Wales in a school called Monmouth Comprehensive School. So I took that school from satisfactory to outstanding in the 10 years that I was there. And then I returned home. I was born and brought up in this area.
Oh, really?
So I've come back to my family.
So this means as much to you as it does to the parents.
It means a huge amount.
Yes.
It means a huge amount because this was a sense of coming back to my community and making a difference here. Yeah. So I'm very pleased to have done that.
Well, I mean, all the schools in Brentwood are fantastic. I moved from another area a few years ago because we've just had a little boy, a little 2-year-old. And
can I write him down for Shenfield High School now?
You can do. You can. I'm concentrating on where to take him at the moment. So you're giving me so much information on what to look for in a school that I'm going to send him to. Because as you know, I mean, I didn't realise till we had little Joe. That you have to start putting their name down as early as you possibly can.
You have to think about what you're looking for in a school, and you do want a school which is going to be nurturing. I mean, all parents want their children to be happy, and I think that's, of course, what parents are going to look for, a nurturing environment where relationships are very strong, and in that sort of environment, if a young person is content and happy and looked after, then they're going to achieve.
Totally.
And it's a prerequisite for that, I think.
I mean, that's obviously we're all here to learn. That's the bottom line of it all. And if you have a good education to start off with, it does help you for the rest of your life.
Well, it's your platform from which you launch yourself. And we talk a lot in our school about being on the journey, and that we take our young people through a journey which sets them up for the rest of their lives. And if we can do that, then we've done a good job.
Well, Carole, it's been fascinating to talk to you about
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
I've learned so much about this. I really have, honestly. I'm going to go and tell the missus now when I get home. I've just had a message pop up in front of me that the school have tweeted you asking if we can play James Brown, I Feel Good, for the interview.
Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah? Right.
Well, very appropriate, I think, don't you?
We'll play you some James Brown. Thank you so much. You're welcome in any time you want to talk about anything that you're doing in the future for the school. You come in, and it's lovely to talk to you.
Thank you.